Hello, welcome to Insights Nigeria. We're broadcasting live from our Viewer TV television headquarters here in Abuja. Well, on the program today, we get to look at the current state of the nation. And I have a very eminent guest in the studio to help us understand the issues on ground as we dissect all of the issues and provide solutions as we look at the way forward for our dear nation, Nigeria. Well, the president has spent 97 days in office, 3 days away from 100. Ahead on the show, we get to look at what the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, that's Chief Emeka Nyonku, said in an open letter to President Buhari, still on the state of the nation. He mentioned the economy, he talked about unemployment, as well as security, insecurity, amongst other things mentioned in that letter. We'll take a break now. When we return, I introduce our guest. Stay with us. Welcome back. Inside Nigeria on Viewer Television. My name is Victor Pepple. On the show today, we have the estimable presence of CharlyBoy, the area father. Glad to have you on the show.
Nice to be here, but I'm not here today as CharlyBoy. I'm here as Mr. Oputa. I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Oputa.
Yes.
But we know you as CharlyBoy.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Mr. Oputa is on the show today. Also to my right, I have Lady Doris Udensi, the Diaspora Coordinator and Executive Director for the Omodudu Foundation. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for gracing the show today. Let's get straight to the conversation. I mean, you stay in Nigeria, you live in Nigeria, and you know all the happenings here in Nigeria.
I know some of it.
Some of the happenings in Nigeria.
Not all.
February 2019, we had the general elections, which saw the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari. And given that you were very vocal during the elections, what do you think about the outcome, Mr. Puta?
That's a very pregnant question. But we have what we have right now. And I think we should move on. But I know that the best way to move on is, first of all, for the citizens to understand exactly what their rights are. Otherwise, they'll keep making the same mistake, and it's bound to get worse, not better. Okay? So we've moved from our mumu don't do. Because during their election, that our mumu don't do was a campaign slogan. Okay, hoping that our mumu was supposed to do, but apparently, we're still behind. We now have what we have. Okay, so we've changed our campaign strategy, because if something you've been doing over some time, and at a point you need to go back to the table and reconfigure it again and know where you made mistake or how you can do it better. Yeah, and we've decided that until the citizens understand the powerful office that they hold as citizens of this country, nothing will ever change. So now we want the average Nigerian to understand, say, now you and now me. Now we be the government. No be those people waiting for government house. And until we understand, say, you and me, now we be the government. Nothing is about to change, because there's no Messiah coming tomorrow to rescue anybody. Okay? This is what we need to stand up for ourselves.
All right, ahead on the show, we're going to talk a bit about Now We Be Government and the Our Mudon Do campaign. But Mr. Puta, you've been around, you've been very active in the past 40 years on the grind, seeking for a better Nigeria. Would you say things are getting better or worse?
I don't think we've hit rock bottom yet. We're about to do that. Of course, things ain't getting better. Nothing is getting better. Is it better at your side? I don't know, maybe. But it's not better with me or the people I know. Okay, we're all living in a very hopeless situation, and people are getting more frustrated. There seem to be more division. There seem to be, nobody's safe anymore. So how can things be getting better?
And what's
Things
your
are getting
position on
worse.
the youths? Do you think the youth should take an active role in governance?
Of course, all what I've done over the past 4 decades has always been about the youths, okay? Sometimes my heart bleeds because it's like they're busy watching Big Brother Nigeria. They're busy doing all the silly stuff rather than participating in the decision making about their future. Because if you're not at the table where your future is being discussed, you have no future here.
But some of the youth would tell you that there's no opportunity given to them to participate and
nobody gives you anything. Nobody gave me anything. The only thing my parents gave me was a good education. Now I'm beginning to wonder, does it really count? I mean, if riff-raps could, just go and swear an affidavit. You understand? Yeah? So what you want, I wanted to be CharlyBoy so much, okay? Against my parents' approval, against their support and everything, but because I wanted to be that so much, I took the bull by the horn and I made it happen for me. So young people must stop agonizing about their situation. They must start to organize themselves, okay? Because Jesus ain't coming tomorrow, Allah ain't coming tomorrow, nobody's coming tomorrow to save anybody.
So we should
your
save
salvation
ourselves.
lies in your hands. Yes, now, before Unko.
Mr. Oputa, before the elections, we had the Our Mumu Don't Do campaign, which was very viral. I mean, you had several partners as well during that time, one of which would be Deji Adeyanju, if I'm right on that. And both of you were in the fight together. But along the lines, there were some allegations that's from the corner of Deji Adeyanju in regards to Our Mumu Don't Do, and he had to end. Could that be the reason why we're switching camps to now we be government?
That's silly to think, to have that train of thought.
Oh, no, okay. What happened really exactly? We'd like to find out.
No, but whatever allegation is not true. There's so many perceptions, speculation about the brand CharlyBoy. I mean, people have called him all kinds of names, from a homosexual to a cultist to irresponsible and all of that and all of that. But we all know, well, those who know that all of that ain't true. Like for the past 40-something years that I've been doing this, it comes with the territory. That's betrayal, comes with the territory. I remember the time with as a PMM president, yeah? I mean, the same artists, what is happening today in the industry, some people were responsible for it, for this result we're seeing, for the respect the music community is getting, the artist is getting now, for the big money the artist is making now, for the global recognition the artist is making now. But yet, at the time we were fighting this fight, it was the same musicians you were fighting for who said, no, this man is not our president, or we are going to play a show. What was the problem? Listen, you guys cannot keep disrespecting the local artists, bringing foreign artists to our own detriment, paying us useless money and paying them all the money that they want. Then the highest earning artist, A-list artist, was Daddy Shoki, and he wasn't making anything more than 300,000. And we put out an order saying that no A-list artist must be paid less than 1 million. But it was the same musicians that you were fighting for, who were like, no, we'll play the show anyhow we Nigeria brews, like, make them give us the money, we'll collect and we'll play the show. CharlyBoy, we don't know you be our president. So I've seen this over 40-something years. So I'm used to it. That is irrelevant as it comes. What concerns me is that as young people are woke yet to know that their future has been mortgaged, their future you know, except they wake up and really, really fight for it. You know.
The allegations were so strong. I want us to just clear this and then move on, just to clear and get the facts
it
right.
It did not happen.
Okay.
You know, talking about it is just, it belittles our conversation.
Okay.
So don't drag me there, because I ain't going there with you. You know?
Now let's cross over to you, Lady Udetsi. What's your position on this movement, right? The Nawibi government campaign. I mean, we need Nigerians all across the 36 states and the FCT to be part of it, to begin to seize their rights, you know, from the leaders who are there. And you are the diaspora coordinator as well as the executive director of a foundation. I'm sure you have the youths in mind. And with this, it's just to sensitize the public and let the youth know that, oh yes, we need to begin to take charge. What's your position on this movement?
Yeah, you've just hit the nail on the head. The position here is to sensitize the youth and every other person, not only the youth, because everybody has rights, and citizens, we have the ultimate right to demand these things. And even the people in the diaspora, we want them to come on board because they live where things work. Right? So it wouldn't hurt to have the same thing here. Because when you look at other countries that have made progress, places like China, India, Somalia, they made progress because their diasporans got involved. So we're calling on the diasporans to, that's what one of my job as the coordinator for the diaspora, because I'm a Nigerian diaspora too for the last 30 years, you know. So we want this diaspora to come. We're inviting them to come. The problem here, just like the youths, when the youths claim they haven't been given opportunity or they're not given opportunity, same thing with the people in the diaspora. They feel like there's no opportunity, there are no open doors for them, they're not accepted here. But we want to use this opportunity, like Area Father said, nobody gives you anything. Power.
Except you take it.
Power is never given, it's taken. Because nobody in power, because what do they say? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you grab that power, you want to stick with it. That's why people like Mugabe stayed there for as long as they did. So if you, until that country wanted to get the power, they fought and they fought hard for it to snatch that power from Mugabe. Now, that's what's going to happen here. If we, the citizens, who have the most powerful office, the most powerful office is the office of the citizen, because they don't have any tenure. We're just citizen. You're a Nigerian. You're a Nigerian. Period. After 4 years, you're still gonna be a Nigerian.
Exactly.
After 50 years, you're still gonna be a Nigerian. So, but the problem here I see is that our people has been abused so much. Citizens has been abused so much that they don't believe that they have right. They don't believe that they have say. Like during the election, people will tell you, my vote don't count. That's a mental abuse. They have been abused into believing that their vote don't count. But then again, if your vote don't count, why do they pay all those small money for you to pay to vote?
It looks like some Nigerians have lost faith in their leaders. Could this be why some are traveling abroad?
That could it. It is why people are dying in the Sahara Desert. People are dying in the Mediterranean Sea.
Because
they're
running away from hell.
They're
running away from hell?
Yes.
This is
You describe the situation now as hell?
Hell.
Okay.
But the bigger hell is coming.
Wow. How so?
If you don't do... How so? Because we're on a downward slope. Can't you see the decay in everything? Even you, where they ask me a question, as you did so, now so you did 5 years ago.
Even
well,
so between 5 years ago and now, look at where we've gotten.
What worries you most about Nigeria?
What frightens me and worries me most, when will you guys wake up? Will you ever wake up?
The youths now?
Yes, because look at me, I'm 68.
68 years old?
Yes, I'm about to hit 70.
And you're still very active.
Forget that side first. And I said I've retired from public protesting. How can I be almost 70-year-old man I'm out on the street, and then you're sleeping, you're watching Big Brother. God punish all of them. And then you want me to be out on the street?
We're on live TV now, CharlyBoy.
Oh, sorry. No, not CharlyBoy, Mr. Oputa.
Oh, Mr. Oputa.
CharlyBoy just sneaked into me.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk to Mr. Oputa now.
Yes. So it's not. That's the thing that worries me most. That's the thing that I'm afraid. Listen, I can go and live in any part of the world I want. I can be riding my scooter and, doing my regular exercises and going from one of my son's house to my daughter's house, all scattered all over the world, and have a good time. But love for country, love for my environment. They sent, I was in America to do my studies. I only spent 5 years. Only 5 years.
And you got back to Nigeria?
And I ran back to Nigeria because I didn't even like America. I witnessed racism. And that wasn't cool for me. Because in Port Harcourt in the early 50s, I did see Igbo people for my house. So waiting on you, Igbo don't mean anything to me. So how all of a sudden, I'm now in America and I'm made to feel like a lesser human being. I didn't like that. And that's why I left America.
All right, we'll come back to you. You are a Nigerian in the diaspora. What worries you most as a Nigerian living abroad?
What worries me most is the future of my children as Nigerians. Even though they are born, raised in America, they're still Nigerians. Somebody like me, I left this country when I was like maybe 18. I've already built some kind of connection. That is why I'm able to come back. That's why I'm able to have that connection or attachment to the country. Now, my children who are not born or raised here have been here once. What kind of connection would they have with the country? Because it's only a crazy person that will think, let me go and uproot my children and plant them here to do what? There's no security, there's no job, no good education, no healthcare, nothing.
So that's why you're pushing this movement now?
Yes. So unless things change, already we've lost all our good brains.
So how do we get these things back from the government? Do you encourage healthy protest, peaceful protest?
First of all, we need to start with mental protest,
Okay.
mental revolution.
Mental revolution.
Okay.
Yes.
Mental revolution, reorientation of the mind of the citizen. Because if our minds don't change, that's where I was getting at. We now, most citizens, they don't believe they deserve these things. So when you're asking somebody to, change the way you think, participate in a government, demand for accountability, demand for transparency, they're looking at you like, what you talk about? Little me? They're not listening to me. And
My
somebody,
small self.
my small self, somebody comes to pick up a ticket for an election and they say, oh, I'll build the road, I will give you water. And everybody like, yay! That's his job in the first place. That's the reason why he's going to that office. So they're promising that and it's supposed to be a big deal. No, you demand, look, okay, we heard you're going to build road. No, that's what you're supposed to do. Tell us something new. Tell us what you're coming to do. That extraordinary thing you're bringing to the table before I give you my vote. Unless we get to that point, that's when things will start to change.
All right.
Because our leaders, because we don't demand accountability from them, we don't demand transparency from them, they do as they like.
But if you say that we don't demand accountability from them, it might not be absolutely right, because we have some people who go on the streets to protest bad governance.
That
and
is
they
not
end up.
That is not enough.
So beyond protest.
Part of the solution, like I'm preferring, everybody should go back to their region, okay? Because if your own house where you live, na poto, you can't come outside and be doing like this for anybody. And if you think that the rot and the rubbish in your neighbor's house, let it stay in your neighbor's house. It don't reach your house already. So if we all can go back, do you know your local government chairman from wherever you're from? You know the local government chairman. You don't know now. And probably you don't care to know. Now, if we all, check it, if we all can go back to our immediate environment, immediate domain, wherever we're coming from, and start to ask questions. You see, what pains me about young people like you is that you're not curious, you don't ask questions.
But I'm asking questions now.
No, that's your profession. So you're doing your job now. I'm talking about young people generally. They are not inquisitive. They don't want to know, except all that flash and dance and stay on the social media and talk rubbish all the time. That ain't going to solve this problem. So if we all are going back to our roots more or less, to start, because it's easier to manage a smaller space than manage the whole country. So if we all are managing where we're coming from, look at how everything has collapsed. Family, education, everything has collapsed.
Well, it's Insights Nigeria on Viewer Television. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to talk a bit about restructuring, dig deep to find out what Mr. Oputa as well as Lady Odunsi seeks to achieve with Nawibi government. And we do hope at the end of the conversation we're able to inspire and motivate some Nigerians, especially the youths, to wake up and take government now, not through a revolution, because it could be misconstrued. The term revolution, you know, when we come back, we'll talk a bit about that as well. It's Inside Nigeria on Viewer Television. My name is Victor Pepple. Stay here. Welcome back. It's Insights Nigeria on Viewer Television. We're broadcasting live from our headquarters here in Abuja. My name is Victor Pepple. Well, we're looking at the state of the nation, Nigeria today, and we're seeking answers as to the way forward. In the studio, I have Mr. Oputa, known as CharlyBoy. Well, he said I should call him Mr. Oputa, by the way.
Today.
Ace broadcaster, musician, activist. He's always fought in the last 40 years for the rights of Nigerians. Well, these are your accolades.
I don't like the word activist because I think
what should we replace with that?
It's been abused just like the word change.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
I prefer being called a social engineer because that's what I've been doing for the
social engineering?
Yes, for the past 40 years.
All right, he's also in the studio with Lady Doris Udensi. She is the diaspora coordinator for Nawibi government. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Oh, she's here in the studio as well. We'll get to have an extensive conversation on that. Let's talk about the term, change. You talked about it being misconstrued, similar to revolution. Very recently.
I said the word has been so bastardized.
What do you think about revolution?
It depends on what kind of revolution you're talking about. If it's a revolution of the mind, which is what we're preaching now, because you have to have your mind in the right place for you to attract change.
What's your take on the revolution now protest?
It's the wrong way. It's well intended, but it's the wrong way. Because look at the people we are fighting. They have all the agency, they have everything, they have the money. What do we have? We don't have anything.
Our voice.
Our voice, yes, but when they called for that, how many people came out?
Well, we saw the detention of the convener, and what's your position on that?
That is neither here or there. Because if you pain you rich, okay? If you pain you rich, I should, and that is why I'm retiring for being a professional protester. Because if you pain you rich, I would want to see, even they arrest CharlyBoy, they arrest whoever, we should see 5 million people out there. Then we know we are serious for once.
The issue of revolution now and protest, peaceful protest as it may seem like, right? You've been abroad, same like CharlyBoy, he went there for 5 years and got back. We see some Americans and in other climes around the globe, we see people protesting and they're not detained, they're not harassed. Here in Nigeria, very recently over the weekend, we had students protesting for power supply and 2 of them were killed. And it's the similar situation we found ourselves in Nigeria, where you embark on a peaceful protest on the streets of Nigeria. You are a Nigerian in Nigeria. Sometimes you're not lucky to escape with your life.
Yes. That is the reason why we said mental revolution. Because, see, people in America or anywhere else, they protest and the government listen. The government don't start killing them, don't start arresting them, because the people, they recognize they have rights, right? But then remember, there was a time when these things were happening, maybe 300 years ago in the United States, or maybe even the last 100 years, people were being arrested and stuff like that. But here, when you're doing something and it's not working, you have to sit back and strategize, re-strategize, and find another way to achieve the same thing, right? Now, if we go out on the street to protest, they do python dance, they do crocodile dance. Maybe the next one will be a chicken dance, you know. So it's not effective. People losing their life. That is not to say that people are not going to die. People are going to die, because that's the ultimate sacrifice you have to pay before you get real change. Nothing in life peaceful is going to happen until you make an ultimate sacrifice. Even God himself, he made the ultimate sacrifice before he reconciled. So revolution, if we start from the minds of the citizen, and the citizen understand that, okay, kill us or not kill us, we all gonna be out there. How many people did Hitler kill? 6 million. We're 200 million in Nigeria. Okay, let them kill 10 million.
But that's too much.
That is too much. I'm just saying that, is it even possible for them to kill that many people?
They can't kill
they
that many
can't do
people.
that many people. But what I'm saying is, if 50 million people are out on the street, they can do that.
Do you see us getting about 50 million people hit the streets across Nigeria to do the similar thing?
That is what we're talking about. It has to come with the reorientation of the mind.
Now, when you talk about mental revolution, just a moment, I'm sorry to cut in. Is it for the leaders, the followers, citizens?
No, leave the leaders.
You see,
our problem is the followers.
No, but even the leaders need a reorientation.
No, leave the leader. Listen, if you understand the game, and we all come together, you will not have riffraffs as leaders. Period.
But we find out the electorate still put these people in public office.
That's because we've been sleeping.
Exactly.
And people like you who are not
when you talk about
anything.
sleeping, you said our Mumu don't do, which was a call to, for Nigerians to be
to
Did they
wake up.
Did they wake up?
We woke up.
In some states, yes.
No, look at the election. The last election we just had a few months ago. That election, how many people voted when the results came out? After all the counting, how many people, plus the manipulation and everything, how many votes? Was it up to 20 million, 30 million? Everything? Roughly
million,
about that?
Yeah, a little above 30.
We are 200 million people.
Not all out to 18.
INEC told us we had 87 registered people to vote.
87 million?
87 million.
Yes.
87 million.
So why did
because
that
I have the
come
data.
out?
All right?
Only that.
Now, only 30 million voted. Where were the 57 million? Docile, sleeping, playing game, watching big night.
Could it be that the remaining, those who did not vote, perchance do not have faith in the process or in the government of the day?
Exactly. It might
And then
be
you go
that.
and sleep.
And then you go and sleep.
And then
Who
a
will
chief
bring
man
the
will be coming
change?
to your house. So who you want
Bring the change.
bring that change? Jesus Christ.
APC promised change in 2015.
They
Man,
promise.
come
Oh
on.
yeah, okay. They promise. Have they fulfilled it?
So the point here is, if that 87 million people came out and voted, remember, you don't vote. That's the only way you can speak, right? Now, and again, it's a proven statistics. It's proven that when people don't vote, that's when elections are rigged.
Seriously.
That 87 million people came out and they voted, nobody can rig the
And so
election.
what's your position with the just concluded case at the tribunal, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and the judgment that was given? I'd like to get your thoughts on
Make I
this.
shut my mouth up.
Just your thoughts in maybe
my
10 seconds or 15.
Well, justice. You can't find justice in the House of Justice. No more. Okay? It died with, may his soul rest in peace, with the likes of the Lord Denning of the Supreme Court, Justice Oputa. Okay? Justice is about how much can you pay for the judgment.
Yep.
Is that what happens now?
Yes.
I'm a
You're
journalist,
asking me?
then.
Okay. Yes, that is what happens in the now Nigeria. Justice is up for sale.
So you think it's what played out at the
Of course.
tribunal?
Besides.
Of course. Where a judge will be telling me that you don't need to have certificate. You just go and swear that you're a professor.
No, but it-
and it is.
No, but
Everything
it's in the
It's
Constitution.
in the
Yes, that's what.
Constitution. It's there. But
Therefore, the whole thing has been wrong from the foundation.
Exactly.
And when I say Nigeria is a scam, people are like, but if your
Is
constitution...
Nigeria a scam?
Yes.
It is a
If
scam.
your constitution from day one has been wrong, that means the foundation that you built everything on is faulty. And there's no way anything can work except we go back to start to fix it from foundation. You know, they start from zinc, they build house, they go down. You start from foundation. Now, let me paint a picture, okay, of what I think happened. Yeah? Some white people in the year 19 came to the jungle called Africa in a particular location we now know as Nigeria. They met this very beautiful woman with nice tits, nice hips, very well endowed, who was just about the richest woman in the whole tribe. Yeah? And they started to rape this woman, started to steal from this woman. Okay? They were having so much fun that the woman's, friends and relations in the jungle noticed this and went to the white people to say, please, this is our sister, give us chance. They managed to edge the white people to the side and then took over. But they didn't take over because they wanted to do any good. They went back to the same sin the white people were committing, raping, stealing, and all of it. Okay? Now, the woman is so sick because if there are 200 tribes, those 200 men representing each tribe in Nigeria have had a go at this woman, have been raping this woman, stealing from this woman. If they stop right now, which is unlikely, the woman would even die.
And the woman is Nigeria?
The woman is Nigeria. Okay? If they stop the rape right now, the woman will die.
So should they continue the rape?
Wait. No, they should not continue the rape. They will resolve first and foremost to stop the rape. They will now again bring all the eggheads in the diaspora, because your doctors are going to Canada, going to America.
The Minister of Labour said they can go.
Look at what, can you imagine?
He said they have too much in Nigeria already.
Really? Okay.
And people are dying like chicken.
So you need everybody hands on deck to know how we are going to rescue this woman. And even at that, it's a 50% chance. Okay? Because what I see is just the disintegration of this whole thing, because it's not working.
You sound like you've lost faith already.
No, because listen, things can't keep happening like this now.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But I'm very hopeful that there will come a time, something, see, get it straight. Whatever it is we're doing is our own little, minute, insignificant contribution. It's not like we're going to change anything. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that from what we do, people like you can get motivated, can take it up and run with it. This is my prayer. And that is why I'm saying, everybody to your tents, O Israel. Let's start from our homes.
Okay, let's come to you now, Lady Odunsi. What are the strategies on ground to have Nawibi government running?
The strategies on ground is just what we're doing now, talking. That's the much you can
So how can we get more Nigerians involved?
What we're doing now, you keep preaching, you keep talking, you keep holding town halls, you know, you keep training people to help you.
For how long do you want to do this?
As long as it takes. We can do it for.
You know, as long as
I've been doing it for 40-something years.
Exactly.
Am I still tired? No, I'm not tired.
So who are you working with in furtherance of this course?
I'm working with everybody, a lot of people. Okay. Okay, you can call them.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not specific, but, you know, I don't want to talk about
just a few. Let's talk to you now, Lady Odunsi.
Okay. We're willing to work with everybody, willing to work with you, willing to work with that person on the street, willing to work with any organization, establishment, churches, mosque, anybody that has Nigeria's interest at heart. If you really want this country to change, if you're tired of what is going on,
you want to
come on, let's do this, because I can't do it on my own. He can't do it. If he could do this on his own, 40 years, this place would have been changed.
Now, you've been doing this for 40 years. 3 days from now, Mr. President will hit 100-day in office. What are your expectations of his second term in office?
Nothing.
You don't expect anything?
No,
but you live here in Nigeria.
The worst to happen.
Oh, come on now.
No, that you want me to be truthful about it. Yeah. I'm saying I don't expect anything, my life to change, your life to change, the situation to change. Rather, I expect it will get worse.
Wow.
If we don't do something.
To you now, what you think are the expectations?
From this government, personally, just like you said, I'm not expecting anything, but I want them to surprise me.
When I talk about expectations, I mean motorable roads, education, infrastructure, getting investors.
You think that's going to happen in these 4 years? Come on.
Let's be positive. We are Nigerians.
Okay, so let them surprise me. Wow. Because how many, like 60 years, almost 60 years we've had independence, right? And we still don't have good roads all across Nigeria. No new roads built, you know, barely, maybe in a few places, you know. So the thing is, because nobody, like Nigerians think they don't care. Do we ask, like, why? We heard so amount of money was allocated for this. Exactly. And I didn't see the road. Please, can somebody explain? You write petitions. You go to the government house and protest. That's the right of the citizen. In the United States, where I grew up, that's what you do. You see, like the students are protested over the weekend. That's what I remember too when I was a little girl. Students, the government used to be afraid of students. When
Then the military regime.
In the military regime.
In Nigeria?
Yes.
Now. Okay, you are just an Indomine Pekin. Okay, no wonder.
You see, I remember that time when I was probably about 5 years old. You hear the students are protesting, and the government will be shaking.
Okay, so were you a part of the protest then in the military era?
No,
Okay.
I was.
Okay. Now, if we look at the issues here, I mean, not to make a case for this government, but they'll tell you that previous administrations before this had raped the government, just like the analogy we're trying to...
You know, when I was a P-Man president, yeah? Before my time, P-Man was almost comatose. He was dead, okay? As I came on board, I brought the CharlyBoy persona into it. Everything was like, everybody knew about P-Man, you know? We were holding sway. As soon as I left, everything went back. So if you have a leader that is just busy chopping guru, this is what you're going to get.
You see,
If you have a leader, and remember when I was painting that picture of Nigeria, the woman with, you know, the woman well endowed and everything, have our leaders decided that they are going to stop raping this country? That is the main point.
see, good leaders don't complain about what happened. They get up and they deal. What is the problem? Let's find the smart people. See, that is one of the best attribute or the
You hear that?
of a
Let's
good leader.
find the smart people.
Find people.
Like we don't get anybody.
Say I'm a writer, right? I can write. That's all I can do. I know I can do other things, but I can do this one well. You, maybe you can dance. If we need a situation where that needs dancing,
Get the
I'm
best
gonna go
dancer.
find you to come dance. Let's dance so that this house will come down. Right? That's what good leaders do. Because you cannot do everything.
But what do you think about his kitchen cabinet now? That's Mr. President.
That's the answer.
I'll come to you.
You see, during the what is it, when they were selecting
During nomination for this minister?
not nomination, when they were interviewing them, whatever they call it,
Screening process.
Screening process. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. During this, I read some of the ministers said, my portfolio, I'm not really familiar with this area, but I guess I'm gonna learn. Really? Okay, I'm a medical doctor. You give me a portfolio of a lawyer or an engineer.
How does that work?
How does that work?
But we've seen that in previous administrations.
That is
Does
why
that make it right?
That is why.
That is why we're not moving
where-
anywhere. We have very smart people in this country. Go to America.
Some have argued that it's more like a reward system. If you didn't support this government, you don't expect them to take from the opposition.
Is that how it's supposed to work? This is
It's supposed to be
Nigeria.
on merit.
Yes.
But you know that you've been
Are they
around for a while.
Nigerians?
The system usually, you belong to a party.
But I'm telling you, the system is faulty.
Okay, recall
the
the-
foundation is faulty.
Just a moment.
Everything about it.
You
will be
recall the
faulty.
Senate president made some appointments for his media team, and there were speculations that some of them did not belong to the party. And so some people were asking, do you expect a media personnel to belong to a political party?
Okay.
You know, there were several questions.
Hold on. All right. Because I don't know how to explain this. If I'm doing something wrong, I'm doing something wrong, and it's affecting every other thing. Just because I'm in charge, does that make it right?
It doesn't make it
It
right.
doesn't make it right. So what am I supposed to do? Somebody's supposed to call my attention and say, no, this is not right. Because you're in charge, don't mean that you have to do something right. Because this wrong thing you're doing is just affecting everything. So we have to change. It's only a crazy. What is the definition of craziness?
You tell me.
Okay. Einstein said that definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and over again and doing what? expecting a different result.
Now, we've done this thing and we've made the mistakes. We quite agree with that. Now, you've been active in the past 40 years trying to make a difference. Do you see yourself running for office maybe in 2023,
Nope.
trying to change things for us?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you have the idea.
Excuse me, it's like asking me, do I see myself as like a Maradona, go and play football?
No, I'm not talking about football now.
No, you're talking about
maybe at the
leadership,
state level.
You know, getting into politics. I'm not cut out for that. Because for me, white is white, black is black.
And that's why we need people like you in government.
Yes, people like me will die in government. Until you people you're woke enough to say, no, we want Mr. Ben because of his pedigree, where he's coming from, all the stuff he's done in his life. When you start to pick motopack touts to be your political, you know, in leadership position.
No, but we have well educated.
I beg.
You see, the last election, this last election, we had so many smart people come on board. But everyone like, oh, they can't win. There is a system in Nigeria. No, things not they work like that for Nigeria.
But you live in Nigeria, you know.
I do not live in Nigeria.
Okay, you've been around for a while.
Yes, yes. But that's what I'm saying. Does it make it right though? Does it? No. You answer me. Does it make it right?
Well,
Haven't you asked yourself why? You see a young chap in your backyard playing football. He's so frustrated, okay? He has just his bedroom slippers. He's living in a shanty. But as soon as that boy steps out of the shores of this country, he starts to grow. This is where young people's dream die. That is why you have millions of people crossing the Sahara Desert. Because they want to leave this hellhole. This is hell. So for all you Christians, if I die and they say I'm going to hell, come on, I've already been in hell.
You call Nigeria
hell?
hell?
Oh yes, it is hell.
Do you
for
think
young
restructuring
people,
is one of the way out of this?
Yes.
we are hoping for that to happen. Let's come to the table and talk as we want to move ahead.
2014 confab, there was nothing done about that.
Because the people who are benefiting from this
will
rape
not allow that.
you to do that. Because they're making so much money with everything intact, with the wrong foundation as it has been since the 50s. If you want to change it now,
They will put up a fight.
they will. You think they will say, "Come and take
What's
it"?
your concept of or on restructuring? What's from your own? What's your position on that? How can you help our listener who's perchance very young understand when we talk about the term restructuring?
First things first. Let the young people that I so much admire, that I will die for, let them just get sense. Once they have that sense, everything will work. And I'm not talking about everybody. Everybody will not have sense. But let there be a critical mass of people who get the message and who can take it to the next level. Once that happens, forget.
Your position on restructuring?
Yes, I feel restructuring is a place to start, right? And my picture of restructuring is going back to the zones, the 6 geographical zones of Nigeria. Geopolitical zones of Nigeria. Let's go back there. There was a time Nigeria was that, and that was when we were flourishing. That was when Nigeria, $2 for 1 naira.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
You were not born at that time.
Yes, you get $2. 1 naira will give you $2. Right?
I used to change naira in America.
Yes, now.
Yes.
In America?
Yes. You change naira in America.
And even some of us who were going to America, they were laughing at us here. That
Yes,
is because we don't
we're not
enough brain.
smart.
That's why we were going to America. America was really not it. Can you imagine 1 naira to $2? How much it be now? How much it be now?
You know, so what it is we don't have things that earns us foreign exchange. That's the only way your money stays stable. When you have foreign exchange, foreign money coming in. Oil is about done. Nobody, you know, there are a lot of things.
Well,
you
this
know,
government was looking at agriculture as a replacement or an alternative.
they're looking. Nigeria. Then we.
Okay, don't look the other way, Mr. Oputa. Let's wrap up this conversation.
We
I'm a frustrated Nigerian. I mean, that is obvious.
You describe yourself as a
Yes.
frustrated Nigerian?
What do you think frustration
President
is?
of the
Somebody will
president.
never chop. No.
You never job?
No, I'm asking you, what do you
Okay.
think frustration is?
Okay.
Frustration is when you're in an environment that is so stifling. You can't grow. We all are frustrated. You are frustrated. You don't need to tell me. You don't need to own up. Because there's no how we all can be frustrated in a system that does not, is not sensitive about us, does not recognize us, does not see us, does not encourage us.
Okay, before let's talk a bit about you now. Let's get a bit up close and personal as we get to wrap up. Just a moment.
Yeah.
You were on radio at some point, a broadcaster, musician. But let's talk about your music career. I recall you used to be on radio.
You
then.
want to water it down?
Yes, let's talk a bit about your music career as to wrap up the conversation.
What about my music career?
You still bringing out songs?
Of course, because I'm looking at all the different avenues, you know, to keep propagating this message. And I'm like, okay, I've left this music thing for a while. Maybe I should go back to it. It can be another avenue to talk to people like you, because I know that you guys, you like music a lot, you know. But, you know, I'm not going to be singing those kind of music about bombs and twerking and all of that. My music, you know, comes with a solid message. And it's just a wake-up call for young people. So, yes, I'm in the studio. I'm doing brand new things. I've worked with people that I admire, like Files.
Oh, you've done
that
something with
guy,
Files.
yeah. Like FaZe,
Okay.
you know, like San Sultan,
Okay.
and the rest of them. Okay, so I'm enjoying myself. Okay, and sooner than later, hopefully by next month, it will all be out there.
Okay.
I'll start my performances again
Nice.
and you know, go around preaching the gospel.
Okay.
According to Nawibi government.
Okay. So we're hoping we get the songs here as well on viewer
Oh,
television.
you will, believe me.
We would love to listen
You're just
to
in
them
my
and play them
backyard. I
again.
didn't know that this kind of place is here.
So we'd have to
you'll
see
be
you
the
more.
first to. Yeah, you'll see me more now.
All right, we're about to wrap up the conversation, but we look forward to having an extensive conversation again. And we hope that you oblige when we
It's your
request that
call,
you
of
come
course,
here.
of course.
Thank you so much, very estimable
You're
lady,
welcome, you're welcome.
Udensi. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today. Very intelligent perspectives, very insightful. We like all the things you've said here on the show, and we look forward to having a conversation with you again.
Anytime.
I remember when we started this interview, I was a little worried about you, you know, but you've asked the right questions, and you've held my attention span, because I'm usually very short-fused, you know, and I won't tolerate nonsense, even if I'm your guest, you know, but you've done well.
Thank you so much. And that's the size of our package on the show today. Inside Nigeria comes through to you again, right here on this station. My name is Victor Pepple. Thank you so much for watching.